Whether you have older kids that need volunteer hours or younger kids that need a fun camp, this South Tampa nursery can help. Anita from Little Red Wagon is here to tell us more about it. How you doing?
Fabulous. How are you? Good morning.
I'm really good. You know, I feel like we're already starting to talk about back to school, but we don't need to rush it. We are still in the middle of summer. So you still have camps at the nursery.
We do.
And spots open.
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, tell me about your camps. What can kids do there?
So we go outside a little bit in the morning, early before it gets too hot. We do a bug hunt. We do a lot of education about our environment, and we do bug yoga, and we do a lot of arts and crafts and a lot of games that are nature-centered. And we also go through our exhibits where we have about 50 different reptiles, amphibians, arachnids, and other creatures they can see besides butterflies.
Oh, that sounds so cool. What a great way to spend the day. And so you need people to help run these camps, right? And that's where the volunteer hours come in, because there are a lot of teenagers out there that need to get their hours in.
Right.
So are you still looking for some volunteers?
Yeah, we always want volunteers to help out. High school students can get their Bright Futures hours. They learn a little too when they're there. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, so what are you trying to, explain to them when they're there? Because I know you're trying to teach them about the environment, but you're also really trying to educate them on native plants, because you're really big on that. Why is it important that we have native plants?
Well, native plants and the animals here, whether it's bugs or other animals, evolved together tens of thousands, if not millions of years ago. So they need each other, and there's a lot of relationships between those two. So we're kind of explaining the ecosystems to them, why all these bugs are important. They're important for our food security. So they're learning all about the ecosystem. They don't need to be afraid, but they need to have an awareness of what to be cautious of.
Yeah. So many of us right now with this drought, our plants are just not doing so well. But if we had these plants that we see in front of us, they would be thriving because they're used to it. So kind of talk through some of the plants that you brought here today.
Yeah, so my garden at home is thriving, and everyone's lawns
Don't brag.
around me.
Mine is not.
I don't have any lawn, but I have a lot of ground covers, which we have some great ground covers here. Sunshine mimosa, frog fruit, very drought tolerant. They can even grow in asphalt. So they love full sun, and they can really take it once they're established after the first 2 or 3 weeks. Very tough plants. And then we have salt tolerant plants. We had hurricanes not that long ago that took out a lot of landscape too. So we have, Florida really can throw a lot of punches at us. The freeze is this spring, right? So, or winter, I'll call it, right?
Yes, right.
We had a winter. So a lot of these plants can take all of those things that Florida throw at it and continue to thrive because they evolved in our sandy soil. People say all the time our soil's terrible, but it's not if you're a native plant.
Right.
So.
And they're beautiful too. Like, look at, what's this one right here?
That's a Rhengium aquaticum. So it's a really neat plant. It likes water based on the aquaticum name, but it also can take some drought. And it starts to bloom this time of year when we start to get our rains. Wow. And it's a great nectar source for all pollinators.
Yeah. Well, you're wearing your butterfly shirt, so we got to talk about butterflies because they're a big part of what you do, and they're a big part of our ecosystem.
Absolutely. They're an indicator species. So if you're seeing butterflies, things are going well in your ecosystem. If you're not seeing butterflies, you need to make a change. And most of the time, they're very sensitive to toxic chemicals. Well, we are too. We just aren't realizing what damage we're doing to just, not just our environment, but to ourselves. Yeah. So having butterflies, having bees, our native bees especially, and other creatures is actually a good sign for us that things are good for us too.
Yeah, and so you talk a lot about the butterflies during these camps, right? Yeah.
We talk a lot about butterflies, the caterpillars, the life cycles of all kinds of different bugs. Yeah. So each week is a little bit different, but butterflies are definitely the mainstream, and but we talk about a lot of other creatures too. Yeah, and so you have camps going on this summer, and in fact, you are keeping them open 1 week longer because some schools have different schedules. So even though Hillsborough County goes back, you still have a camp the following week. Right. So August 10th, we have one more week of camp. For a lot of private schools go back the following week, so we're doing that as well. Yeah. And this week we have skunks coming in. We also do a lot of visitors, and they're super fun. They're descented. So they're descented. I hung out with a skunk not too long ago. But they're super cute. They're super cute. And so it's a lot of fun. We have all kinds of abilities to leverage our team. We have herpetologists, entomologists, so we have a lot of interaction with the animals that are in our own facility too. Well, thank you so much. And hey, if you want to find out more about the camps, you can just check out the website at the bottom of your screen. Thanks, Anita. Thank you.